to learn, enjoy, understand, and apply the beauty of chemistry for Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. If that's a question that you've been asking yourself and you've never found the right answer to meet your demand, then I would like to tell you in advance that to also it's the right answer for you. I mean that Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai is one of the comfortable place for all serious and active ordinary secondary students who like to take their learning process or learning journey into the next level. How are you everybody who is watching this video? I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the international and national viewer of this video. My name is Olenjolai, Moko TAYAI the single. Simply just call me Olenjolai. I am a Tanzanian and I'm doing these programs by using the curriculum and syllabus of Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania, including, it means that this is the syllabus for Tanzania mainland and even Tanzania Islands, we mean Unguja and Pemba. So, I thank God by His own grace, He has called me and He has anointed me with His fresh anointing and gave me a gift of teaching in the national and international level. So by God's grace, I'm a national and international teacher of chemistry who has a responsibility to teach chemistry, basic mathematics and physics to Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. It makes total of 12 subjects that I'm going to teach you in this program. But also we have a vision to teach you the remaining science and social sciences subject. So you have to stay connected and keep praying for us. I would like firstly to welcome you into our online institution that called Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Simultaneously, I would like also take this opportunity to welcome you into one of our YouTube channel that called Tanzania Online or Level. So the missing letter here, it is what? It's on level. On level, Seki School. This is E, Seki School in square bracket Olenjolai. Okay, possibly this is your second or third or fourth or fifth video that you are watching from our official YouTube channel. Or possibly it can be this is your first video that you have been looking help on how you can prepare oxygen, and then you've been searching online and instantly you met with Olenjolai. So I know you have so many questions, and for those who have been our permanently active students, also I would like to take this opportunity to remind you about the vision of To'oso. So what vision do we have in our mind? Because the word of God said that in Proverbs 29 verse 12, verse 18, that where there is no vision, people perish. If you don't have vision, To'oso is going to perish, myself is going to perish, and our students also are going to perish. So God is not ready for us to perish. That's why He gave us the picture which actually contain the destiny and the legacy for To'oso on the planet Earth that will impact the present and future generations of ordinary secondary students. We have, this is our vision that we have in our mind, and you have right also in our mind. We have an assignment, and we have an assignment to teach and train ordinary secondary students on how you can extract knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from the classroom instruction, whether you learn formally or informally, whether you learn as a private student or government students, or whether you learn as a QT student or reciters. We'll be teaching you how you can extract knowledge informally and formally. And then you combine your extract with knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that we are going to teach you on how you can extract it from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible in order to solve real life problems. So our visions has mainly 4 parts. The first part will teach you to extract knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Remember, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom is not the education. Education is something else. But these 3 items are what changes the world, and would like you to be a radical change that will transform the life of the community where you come from into the next level by using the knowledge of science and basic mathematics. The second part will teach you how you can extract knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from the Word of God. The third part of our vision will teach you how you can combine. The first part of the visions will teach you how you can use now these combinations, and I call it fantastic combination, to solve real life problems, not to solve questions in exam. Solving questions in exam is not the main objective of the author. It's a one with a specific objective of the author. I know that it sounds like impossible in your mind to hear about what I'm telling or to believe that what I'm telling right now. But myself, I'm an excellent prototype of what I'm telling you. I thank God by His own grace I've been combining these two knowledges. I've been combining these two understanding. I've been combining these two wisdom and solve real life problems in my life. And I found that every real life problems that I solve by using these combinations, the problems will be permanently solved, and the customer, or we call it just the end, will be solved permanently, or will be solved will be solved frequently in case that if it is a repeated problem. So you can ask me again, give me Olenjolai, give me at least give me one example of the real life problems that you are solving. That are good questions. The real life problems that I'm solving, it's the one that I'm conducting or I'm doing right now. It's a business that I'm doing right now. I'm teaching you about the beauty of chemistry from 1, from 2, from 3, from 4, and also other 2 subjects from 1, from 2 to from 4. Okay, so these the real life problems I'm teaching people. I'm not solving questions in exams, in next exams. I'm just teaching people. So I'm combining the 2 knowledges, the knowledge from the classroom instructions, whether I learn formally or informally, and the knowledge I extracted from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible. Wonderful. Again, I would like to spend a few minutes to take you into the overview of what we have, of how you can register yourself permanently into OSO. The OSO is the abbreviations of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. In case you have an email, remember your password and your team and username. In case you don't have an email, don't get confused. You can still register yourself in Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. The first step, we ask you to create or open a new email in the Google search engine. Just write, how can I create a new email? It can be either a Yahoo email or a Gmail. The second step, we ask you to sign in YouTube by using the email you've created or the one that you had. And when you'll be signed in the YouTube platform, we'll ask you your username and the password. So you have to remember. The third step, we ask you to search to also in the YouTube platform. Once you search it, don't write to also because it's not there. Just you copy and paste our official YouTube channel name that called Tanzania Online O-Level Circuit School in square bracket Olenjolai. So to budget the space, that's why we have written to also as abbreviations of this YouTube channel now. So then you'll see a round button and you'll see the name beside it, Tanzania Online O-Level Circuit School in square bracket Olenjolai. You'll see the number of video. We think by God's grace we have uploaded right now, published more than 75 videos, and also you see the number of subscribers. So soon the number of subscribers will increase because we'll instruct you how you can subscribe onto our channel. So you see a round buttons with the national flag of Tanzania. We ask you to click that round button. So click this round buttons once, and once you click it, you are already into also. You're warmly welcome. So you are already in Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai, and you can access our content anywhere at any time. There's no any physical limitation. So you'll see the horizontal toolbar written home, videos, playlist, community, channel, and about. I will come later into this horizontal toolbar at the top of the window that you're watching right now. The first step now, in order for you to register yourself, this first step is very important, but you cannot accomplish the first step without following the first 4 steps. But you have to do the first step, you have to do it only once, unless that you change your email. So click the buttons, look the buttons which is being written that subscribe on your window or on the video that you're watching right now, and then click it once, and then the text will change into subscribing. The background color of the button will change, and also the background color will change, and the color of the text itself also is going to change. Once you click this button, then you'll see an icon of the bell beside it. We ask you to click it and see 3 options. So you see the options of all, options of personalized, and options of none. We ask you to choose all. What does it mean? First of all, why should you subscribe? That's a very good question. Subscribe to mean that give me notifications when a new brand is announced, right? Or once a new brand of the product is produced. So the aim for you to subscribe is in order to get notifications whenever we add a new video into our YouTube channel that called TANZANIA Online O-Level School in square bracket Olenjolai. We have a vision to record and publish more than 600 videos. So we add at least 1 video in a day. So in case you subscribe, you will get notifications automatically from the YouTube community in the United States of America. Again, we ask you, in order for you to take advantage of organizing contents, we ask you to click the playlist. It means come back into this horizontal toolbar, just click the set button, and then you see, and then find the playlist written Oxygen. There you'll find the collections of all the videos that will teach you about oxygen from the first one to the last one. Again, in case that you want to learn about hydrogens, then search the playlist written hydrogen. You'll find the collections of the videos that will teach you about treating hydrogen. We know that, and we believe that you enjoy our content. So you have a questions, how can you share these videos to millions of other ordinary secondary students in different local schools or ward schools, in district schools, in boarding schools, in day schools, in private schools, in secondary school, or maybe want to share with other QT students, other reciters of chemistry. Then we can click the icons of share below there at your right hand side. Just check the icons written share, and then click it in order to share this video link. Okay, this video link with other students or parents or teachers or QTs or reciters via the social media, example Facebook, email, WhatsApp, Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, TikTok, and then LinkedIn. Again, in the introductions of this video, you have seen the link of our official YouTube channel that called the TANZANIA Online O-Level Seki School. So whenever that you take that link and just search it in YouTube, it will take you directly into this stage. All right? So you can share either the video link or you can share the channel link. Wonderful. So again, I would like to spend, so you're warmly welcome, my dear students, in the departments of chemistry. The subject today is called the chemistry. These contents we have created specifically for pre-Form 2 students, for the Form 2 students, for the Form 4 students who are preparing themselves for the certificate secondary examination in Tanzania or any other names of the examinations in the world, for example, SAT in the United States of America. We'd like to welcome also the QT students. We'd like to welcome all the visitors, and these contents we create for the class what? This is class for the class 10. Class 10, so class 10, or teachers, right? So class 10, or teachers who teach chemistry. We are in chapter 1 that called oxygen. We are in session 4. I'm going to teach about laboratory preparations of oxygen by decompositions of potassium chlorate. We have good news that we've prepared for every lover of chemistry. So you have to stay tuned and keep enjoying the beauty of chemistry for the rest of your life. Meditate chemistry. So my dear student, let us continue with session 4 of the laboratory preparations of oxygen by decompositions of potassium chlorate. So after giving you a little introduction, I believe that you have followed those steps, and right now you have already subscribed and you're a permanent student. So you are ready to receive the good news that we have prepared for you in chemistry as the pre-Form 2 student, Form 2 student, QT student, reciter student, or Form 4 students who is preparing for the certificate secondary education, or class 10 students, or a teacher who is teaching chemistry. So let us start our session 4 with quick review. Let us link session 4 with session 3. Quick review. So quick review of session 2. What did we teach in session 3? What did we teach you in session 3? Well, so the session has been titled as Laboratory Preparations of Oxygen Gas by decomposition, not thermal decomposition. We didn't use the conditions of heat there. By decomposition of what? Composition of hydrogen peroxide. So in case you want to search, write the word laboratory, not in abbreviation. So you can search this video and write the word preparations of oxygen in wax and hydrogen peroxide in wax. Then you can search this video in our official YouTube channel right now in order to take advantage, and we recommend you to learn this first method of preparing oxygen by using decomposition of 40 hydrogen peroxide under the presence of 40 manganese oxide before you learn how you can prepare oxygen by thermal decompositions of potassium chlorate. So quickly, what we have taught you, first of all about the meaning of the general chemical equation. So the general chemical equation or reaction. So chemical equation or reaction. And we taught you that any chemical equation has a general formula of reactants. Reacting, here we have catalyst, here we have condition, and then to make what? New products. So new products might be one product or more than one product. So we defined to you that in this laboratory preparation method, the reactant of this reaction we mentioned is hydrogen peroxide, and this also is one of the material that we need. Also, we don't have any condition, but we have what? Catalyst. So we say the catalyst of this reaction is manganese 4 oxide. Then we mentioned to you about the product of the chemical reaction. The product of these chemical reactions is only of these chemical reactions is oxygen plus what? So the products of this chemical reaction, say it is oxygen. Let me check. It's oxygen and what? And water. And 2 moles of what? 1 mole of oxygen gas and the 2 moles of what? Of oxygen liquid, as a liquid. And then we taught you again about the products. So we talked about the word equation, right? So the word equation for this reaction, we say that on the reactant we have hydrogen peroxide, and then the condition is manganese 4 oxide. So manganese 4 oxide, and then the product is water plus oxygen. So this is Wade equation. Then we taught you a chemical equation which in chemistry we call the molecular formula of this reaction, where that we wrote hydrogen peroxide reacts under the presence of what? Of manganese 4 oxide and produce 2 moles of water plus what? 1 moles of oxygen. So the 2 moles of hydrogen peroxide reacts together or decompose under the presence of manganese 4 oxide to make what? So this hydrogen peroxide, its state is aqueous. So this is physical state is aqueous, and the physical state of water is liquid, and physical state of gas is of oxygen is what is gas. And then after teaching you about this molecular formula, we have taught you about apparatus required for this. We have talked about 7 apparatus that we need, that are required in preparations of oxygen by using decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. So 7 apparatus required. So we've mentioned the liver tube, we have mentioned cysto, we have mentioned watercraft, and also we mentioned 3 materials required. And also we taught you how you can draw a diagram of what laboratory preparation of oxygen by decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. And we told you that why should we collect this oxygen gas in this method. So today, let me teach about laboratory preparations of oxygen by decomposition of potassium chlorate. That's today's session. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just give you a little introduction. In this session, let me give you that introduction of this method. I'll teach you by using different teaching styles that will make you to enjoy and understand understand chemistry for the Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, and Form 1. Introduction. So the introductory sentence, we say that oxygen gas can be prepared. The facts state that can be prepared in chemistry laboratory by a method of decomposition, decomposition of potassium chlorate by the method of decompositions of potassium chlorate, and even the other previous methods. So this is the first introductory sentence. Then we say that the overview, so overview of this method. So what am I going to teach you in this method? This is a part of introductory for this session. I'm teaching differently, remember that, and you have to enjoy chemistry. In this method, I'm going to teach you the following steps or the following parts. The first part, I will teach you about reactants. Reactant of the chemical reaction, are exit abbreviations of chemical reaction. The second concept that I'm going to teach you, I'll teach you about catalyst, the catalyst of the chemical reaction that called the decomposition of potassium chlorate. The third concept, ladies and gentlemen, I will teach you a new part which I didn't teach you in the previous method of laboratory preparations of oxygen by decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. So you say the third concept I'll teach about the condition of this reaction. The first concept that I'm going to teach you after teaching condition, I'll teach you what products. We have 2 products in this chemical reaction. The first concept that I'm going to teach you in this session, I'm going to teach you about word equation. However, that I'll teach you the topic of word equation of the reaction. I'll teach you in Form 3, but I have to build a strong foundation right now, and then when we be in Form 3, I'll just remind you. Okay? Then the sixth part of this, of session 4, I will teach you about molecular equation of the reaction. Okay? The seventh concept that I'm going to teach you, I will teach you about what apparatus required. The list, I will give you the list of apparatus required in this reaction. What apparatus do we need when you want to set or to do this experiment in laboratory? The eighth concept that I'm going to teach you in this session, I'll teach about materials. Materials required in this reaction. What materials do we need? The ninth part of session 4, I will teach you about what? Now the diagrams of laboratory preparation. So I will teach you how you can draw a diagram of laboratory preparation of what? Of oxygen. And this will be the answer of previous question, which was question 20. So answer of the previous question, which was example of example 4. I left the homework in session 3 as what? Okay, I left the questions in example 3, in example 4, in session 3 as example 4, which I ask you to draw a well-labeled diagram of preparing oxygen in laboratory by thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. So in this ninth concept, we are going to answer that question. If you have tried, just stay within, it means that follow along in this session, you'll get the answer of that question as long as you'll be connected with this session. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the two parts, or those are the two things that I would like to introduce to you as a beautiful and excellent student of chemistry for the Form 2. So let us start with the first part of session 4. And this is, we like to deal with difficulty 4.1. So this, remember that it's 4.0. So the introductions in every session is 4.0. So 4.1, let us focus on reactant of this reaction. Reaction of what? Thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. We define what is a reactant. Reactants is the chemical substance which undergo chemical change in order to form new products. So here, because this is the laboratory preparations of oxygen by thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate, we are going to have physical change and the chemical change as we taught you in Form 1. So in the chemical change, we'll have reactants, which will change chemically and also will change physically. Wonderful. So what the reactants of this reaction? That's the question that we have on the spot. Okay? So we say that the reactant of what? Of the chemical reaction of what? Of thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate is, so the reactant is potassium, say with me, potassium chlorate. This is the name of the reactant in words. In its molecular formula, potassium, the molecular symbol, it means that the symbol of potassium is K, and the symbol of chlorine is Cl, and the symbol of oxygen is O. So we have 3 atoms of oxygen. So potassium chlorate is a compound made by 3 elements: potassium, chlorine, and oxygen. How many moles of potassiums are in potassium chlorate? 1 mole, or 1 atom. 1 atom of potassium chlorate. How many atoms of chlorine are there? 1 atom of chlorine is present in potassium chlorate. How many atoms of oxygen in potassium chlorate? There are 3 atoms of 40 of oxygen. Wonderful. So this is the reactant that you are going to use in preparations of oxygen in laboratory. That's what we want to know, and that's what we want the Form 2 student to understand and keep it in his or her mind. Again, the second part, we want to know about catalyst. What the catalyst? Catalyst used in the reaction. So remember, RXN, this is abbreviation of what? Of writing a chemical reaction quickly, but don't use this abbreviation in exam. So we ask ourselves, what the catalyst? So what is a catalyst used to speed, okay, to speed thermal decomposition? That might be a question. Thermal decomposition of potassium chlorate, either in molecular formula or of these compounds or in words. But now you know what does this means, or how do we read these compounds in chemistry. So the answer, we say that the catalyst used to speed this reaction is called the manganese. So in words, it's called the manganese. We'll teach about oxidation state later on. Oxide. So this is the name of the catalyst. So you're using the same catalyst as the catalyst we used in preparations of oxygen by decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. So do you remember the molecular formula of manganese for oxide? It is capital M, small letter N. This is the symbol for the manganese. Manganese is the 24th elements in the periodic table, which we didn't teach yet, or level student. And then we have 1 atom of manganese, and also we have 2 atoms of oxygen. So this is the name. So this is the name in word, and this is the molecular formula of the catalyst used in this chemical reaction. Chemistry is a beautiful subject. It's not a complicated subject. If you hate it because you have got bad teachers or bad reference books, then you may try to love it today. And don't wait tomorrow. You may start to love it from today. Well, so that is about the catalyst of the catalyst used in the chemical reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, let us go to the third part of this session. And the third part of the sessions are called the overview that I have given you. Let me teach about condition. This reaction needs a specific condition for it to take place quickly. So condition used in the reaction. So we may be asking, or we ask ourselves as the chemists, this will be question what? This will be question 3. What is the necessary condition What is a necessary condition? What is a necessary condition for the thermal decomposition of potassium chlorate? This is the molecular formula. Potassium chlorate reaction to occur. What condition should you make sure that you introduce? So in previous first method of preparing oxygen in laboratory, we used only the catalyst. We didn't use the condition. But for this reaction, we have to use the condition. Do you know what condition is necessary for this chemical reaction to take place? So the answer of that question, we say that the necessary condition for this chemical reaction to take place is heating, is thermal, is what we call thermal, or in other word we say that heating, which we can just write in short as heat. So this chemical reaction can take place successful under the presence of source of heat. So do you remember the source of heat in chemistry laboratory? We taught you that the most famous and frequently used source of heat in chemistry laboratory is Bunsen burner. So you are going to use a Bunsen burner. In case you miss or you don't have a Bunsen burner, you may use other source of heat such as kerosene burner, but they are not effectively heating or providing the enough amount or enough amount of heat for the chemical reactions to take place. However, that can take place. So in the previous method, we didn't use heating. We just used the catalyst. Okay? In case you don't have or you don't understand, in case you understand what we are teaching you or you don't understand, please use the comment section to ask your question. Right? Make sure that you remember that. Ask me questions at any time when you are watching these programs through the comment section. Give me the feedback if you understand or not in the comment section. Interact with me, please, as how I speak to you. Speak to me, my dear student, in the comment sections. I used to read comment section of every video. Speak to me, please. Speak to me. I want to hear you. So, the first part of session 4, let us focus on products of this reaction. What are the products of these reactions? Okay, of this reaction. So we say the reactant of these reactions is potassium chlorate. When potassium chlorate undergoes thermal decomposition, it produces 2 products. Do you know them? So that's the questions that we have to ask ourselves as chemists. What are the 2 products of the thermal decomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate reaction. So we say that the 2 products of thermal decomposition of potassium chlorate are, the first one is called the potassium chlorate. Potassium. The first one is called the potassium chloride. Its molecular formula, K stands for potassium, Cl stands for chlorine. That's the first product. But there's number of atoms of each element. Then the second, so this is the first compound. The second molecule is what? Oxygen gas. Its molecular formula is what? O2 in gaseous state. So now, we know the reactant of the chemical reaction. We know what the catalyst used in the thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. We know the condition for the thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate to take place. We know the products that this chemical reactions is going to give us. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we can write our general chemical equation, and after writing our general chemical equation, we may get two types of very important chemical equation in chemistry that we call them, we'll get two types of the chemical equation, the word equation and the molecular equation, right? So that is very interesting concept. Okay, so this is 4.5. So then we say what? So let's write what? Where the equation of the reaction. So the question that we might be asking, ask it right, where the equation of what? Of thermodecomposition. Thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate in words. Potassium chlorate in words. Just to budget the space, I wrote it by using its molecular formula, which I believe all my ordinary secondary students or middle school students might understand the sentence. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to learn the word equations of thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate? Remember that in the word equation of the difference between word equation and the molecular, first of all, the word equations uses words in writing reactants, condition, catalyst, and products. While the molecular formula or molecular equations uses the molecular formula of reactants, catalyst, and the products. Are the difference. But the second difference, we cannot balance the word equation, but we can balance the molecular equation. That is, there's a two differences between word equation and the molecular equation. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let us go into the sixth part of this chemical reaction. We are still in the fifth part, excuse me. So you say that from the general form or formula of any chemical reaction, and this general formula of any chemical reaction, on the right hand side, we used to have reactant, either one reactant or more than one reactants, right? And then we have an arrow. Above of this arrow, we may present what? Catalyst and condition, right? It may be one condition, or for the simple chemical reactions, we might use one condition, one catalyst, or we might use only condition without catalyst, or we might use catalyst. So there are the three possibilities. The chemical reactions can take place without a catalyst, with neither catalyst nor condition. That's the first possibility. The second possibility is the chemical reaction can take place with the presence of catalyst, but without the condition. The third possibility is the chemical reaction might take place with the necessary condition, but without the catalyst. And the fourth possibility, the chemical reactions can take under the presence of the catalyst and condition. So there are four possibilities of chemical reactions to take place in relation to catalyst and condition. Remember, the heart of TOOSO, of Tanzania Online Undergraduate, Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai, is understanding. So stop cramming chemistry, mathematics, and physics from 1 to form 4. That is our policy, right? And that is our motto. Stop cramming. Understand. It's possible to understand. Listen careful, concentrate, and then take this information and think outside of the class how you can apply on solving a real life problems. So if you have a school laboratory, you may learn these contents and go and ask a lab technicians to give you the apparatus and the raw materials required for you to prepare oxygen in laboratory. And then, because I will teach you the diagram, you may do this experiment yourself under the guidance of your school technician. Don't wait until the school technicians will come and demonstrate for you. There's two ways that you can get. The school technicians might do his or her responsibility of demonstrating to you laboratory preparations of oxygen, or you might go and ask your school technician to give you the apparatus, guide you, and the raw materials for preparations of oxygen. Because remember, chemistry is experimental subject. So don't learn chemistry by using only brain. Learn chemistry by using brain and your hands. It's a theoretical, chemistry is a theoretical and experimental subject. Keep that for the rest of your life. Okay. So then on the right hand side we have we have products. So this is the style I'm going to teach you all the Form 2 topics of chemistry, all the Form 2 topics, all the Form 3 topics of chemistry, all the Form 4 topics of chemistry, all the Form 1 topics of chemistry. So if you're Form 2 students and you've never taken my session about chemistry Form 1, you may access them in Tanzania Online or Level Set School. Just to go and search there, just a playlist which returns chemistry Form 1. And you'll find all our sessions, more than 50 sessions, that we teach the beauty of chemistry for the Form 1. Okay, so from this general equation right now, we can write our weight equation, right? So you say that the weight equation of thermodecomposition. Thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium. Okay, so let me write in words. Potassium chlorate is this. What is our reactant? Our reactant, we have what? We have potassium. Say with me. Potassium what? Potassium chlorate. Potassium what? Chlorate. Then, what the catalyst that you are using? The catalyst that we use is called the manganese 4 oxide. What the name of the condition used for this reaction to take place? It's it. What are the products that we get from this chemical reaction? We have two products. The first product is what? You just have to recall because I've taught you. Is potassium chloride, then plus what? Plus oxygen gas. Plus oxygen gas. So this is the weighty chemical equation of thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. Wonderful. You are done. Nothing difficult. Chemistry is a beautiful subject. Isn't? Tell me in the comment section, please. Okay, so let us go into the sixth part of this session. The sixth part of this session is depends on the fifth part of this equation. In the sixth part, we gave you a promise that we are going to teach you how you can write molecular. Right now, we don't explain to you in detail about molecular chemical equation or word chemical equation. We just mention and explain to you in words, literally. But later on, so we teach you have a topic. The first topic in chemistry form 3 is called the chemical equation. Don't miss it. Molecular chemical equation. Molecular chemical equation. So molecular chemical equation of what? Of the reaction. Of the reaction. Molecular chemical equation of the reaction. So we say that if from the general formula that I told you of any chemical reaction, general formula of any chemical reaction, which on the right hand side we have what? On the right hand side we have reactant or reactants. Then we have an arrow which is representing equal sign in mathematics. Above the arrow we write the catalyst used, and below the arrow we might write what is the necessary condition. Okay, necessary condition. And then on the right hand side of the arrow we write product or products. So the general equation is what? You might have one reactant or more than one reactants under what? Under the presence of what? Of catalyst. And sometimes we might need a necessary condition. Then on right hand side we have either one product or more than one product. So from the word equation we may write the molecular formula. What the molecular formula of potassium chlorate is very simple. Stop writing, my dear students, stop writing. Let us write the molecular formula, which is a most challenging chemical formula for for the beginners of pre-form 2, form 2, QT, reciters, and even some teachers who teaches chemistry. It's a little bit challenging because you have to think differently, and sometimes you have to use some concept which you didn't cover yet. For example, to balance the chemical equation, we are not allowed to teach a Form 2 students on how to balance the chemical equation because there is a specific topic according to the syllabus and curriculums of chemistry for ordinary secondary education in Form 1 to Form 4 prepared by the Tanzania Institute of Education in Tanzania. We have a responsibility as chemistry teachers to teach our national students, national ordinary secondary students, the beauty of chemical equation in Form 3. Wonderful. So, what the name of the reactant potassium chlorate? Did I teach you its molecular formula? Yes, I taught you. Okay, what the molecular formula of potassium chlorate? We start writing K standing for potassium. No need for you to claim. Then chlorate, because the word chlorate, this is the combinations of the two words, chlorine and the oxygen. The word chlorate, we have a possibility, it's quite different from chloride. Chlorate. So the word chlorate is different from chloride. The word chloride means that it contains only chlorine. Wonderful, as non-metal. The word chlorate, this is the combination of the two atoms. It's a compound. Chlorate, it's a compound, which consists of chlorine. So you see that the first 4 letters represent chlorine. Rate or rate, so we say that CHL represents chlorine, or rate represents oxygen. And it means that 3 atoms of oxygen. So it means that it is potassium. The chemical symbol of potassium is K. The chemical symbol of chlorine is Cl. The chemical symbol of oxygen is O. But how many atoms of oxygen are in chlorate? 3. Right? So this potassium chlorate, we say that it's in solid state. Its physical state is solid. So this one decomposes. And undergoes decomposition under the presence of what? Manganese 4 oxide as our catalyst. Did they teach you the molecular formula of manganese 4 oxide? The answer is yes. Manganese 4 oxide contains only 2 elements, manganese and the oxygen. How many atoms of manganese? Only 1. So Mn is a chemical symbol of manganese, and then the chemical symbol of oxygen is O, capital letter O. So we need 2 atoms of oxide. So this is what we call the manganese 4 oxide. Then the catalyst is heat. We might write the word heat, or we might use the symbol of triangle. And this, whenever you see this in chemistry, it means that the necessary condition is heating. Then what are the products? How many products do you have? 2. Potassium chlorate. You know the chemical symbol of potassium? Yes. The chemical symbol of potassium is K. The chemical symbol of chlorine is L. Right? Plus. Do you remember the chemical symbol of oxygen is? Yes. It's oxygen with 2 atoms. This is in solid state, the physical state, and this is in gaseous state. So you see the same reaction undergo chemical change and physical change, because the solid state of the reactants has been changed into solid state of the product and gaseous state. But again, okay, for the form to study, because we didn't teach you about balance in the chemical equation, then if you write that, you are right, because we didn't teach you yet about how to balance the chemical equation. But I want to teach you how you can use your common sense. Whenever we write any chemical reaction, we have to balance the number of atoms in the reactant side with the number of atoms in the product side. Are you ready for that? Don't balance the number of atoms in the catalyst. Just balance the number of atoms in the reactant side and the product side. They have to be balanced. To balance means if I have 1 atom of potassium on the reactant side, I should also have 1 atom of potassium on the product side. So you use that principle for all the elements that you find in the reactant side and the product side. So let me teach you something about how you can balance this chemical equation. There's no need for you to cram, because I know some Form 2 students, they used to cram and they used to sing a song. If potassium chlorate react, you get potassium chloride plus oxygen. No need for you to cram, my dear student. You have just to use the principles that Olenjolai teaches you, that God has taught me in His own altar and His own counsel in order to teach you. Wonderful. How many number of atoms of potassium do you have? 1. How many numbers of potassium atoms do you have? Only 1. Then, how many number of atoms do you have of chlorine on the reactant side? It's 1 atom and 1 atom of chlorine on the product side. We don't have problem with number of atoms of potassium on the reactant side. It is balanced already with number of atoms of potassium on the product side. We don't have a problems with the number of atoms of chlorine on the reactant side, and we don't have a problems with the number of chlorine on the product side. But we have a problems now on the number of atoms of oxygen on the reactant side. It's not equal to the number of atoms of oxygen on the product side. So here we have 3 atoms of oxygen, here we have 2 atoms of oxygen. So you have to balance. How should we balance? So because I will need to write a whole number here, let me leave some space for oxygen here. So how do we balance? So I think that the good balancing, let me add 2 here. And let me add 2 here, so to balance the number of potassium. So we have 2 atoms of potassium on the reactant side and 2 atoms of potassium on the product side. 2 atoms of chlorine on the product side, on the reactant side, and 2 atoms of chlorine on the product side. 6 atoms of oxygen, 2 times 3, 6 atoms of oxygen on the reactant side, but here we still have 2 atoms of oxygen. Wow. So how we can balance? So you have to add the number of atoms of oxygen. So right now we are allowed in chemistry to take 3 times 2 and make 6 atoms of oxygen. So this is what we call a balanced molecular chemical equation of the decompositions of potassium chlorate. Wonderful. Congratulations for understanding. Congratulations. May God bless you. And keep that what you have understood. So that is the 6th part of this session. The 7th part in normal, but in labeling the numbers, this is the 6th part. Then let me teach you the 7th part of this session. The 7th part of this session, I gave the overview that I'm going to teach you about apparatus, what are the laboratory apparatus that you need in order to prepare oxygen by thermal decompositions in laboratory. Apparatus required in preparation of what? Of oxygen. Preparation of oxygen in preparations of oxygen by thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate. Of potassium chlorate in laboratory. Can be in your home laboratory or in your school, even school laboratory, you can prepare this experiment. Okay. So the following are the laboratory apparatus required in preparation of oxygen gas by thermal decomposition of potassium chlorate by thermal. So the following are the laboratory apparatus required in preparations of oxygen gas by thermal decompositions of potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate. Wow. So, the good thing or the good news, the apparatus required to prepare oxygen in laboratory by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide are closely similar to the apparatus required to prepare oxygen by thermal decompositions of potassium chlorate. So it's just like repetitions of what we've taught you. Remember that these are the new questions that you might be asked at any time or in any exam. So let me list these apparatus that you need. The first apparatus that you need as an excellent student is a laboratory apparatus that we call the retort stand. Say retort stand. The second apparatus that you need is called the test tube. What the function retort stand is just to support something. So the retort stand is going to support the test tube. Test tube. Why do you need test tube? Because the condition for this reaction is heating. So test tube is used to heat compounds or substances in laboratory. Then the next apparatus is called the delivery tube, which it can deliver oxygen from the test tube into the gas jar. Then we need again another apparatus that we call the water trough, and we need again another apparatus that we call the beheave shelf. So this beheave shelf is used to hold the gas jar in water. Okay. Then the sixth apparatus that we need is called the gas jar. The gas jar, it's an apparatus which is used to collect what? Gas. Then the seventh apparatus, we need a stopper. We need a stopper. A stopper is to hold your delivery tube in the test tube. The eighth apparatus that you need for preparations of oxygen in laboratory by thermodecompositions of potassium chlorate is called the Bunsen burner. What the function of the Bunsen burner? The function of Bunsen burner, if you remember, is to heat substance in laboratory. If you have this apparatus, 8 apparatus, then you prepare oxygen in laboratory successful. It's a stage for you to prepare experimentally oxygen in laboratory. Then the 8th part of session 4, I would like to mention materials required. We need 3 materials. Materials required in laboratory. So remember, laboratory, we can write in abbreviations as lab, laboratory preparation, but don't write that abbreviations in exam. We just write in learning, preparation of what? To summarize, laboratory preparation of oxygen by thermodecomposition. By thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium, the compound called the potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate. So we start a sentence. In order to prepare oxygen in laboratory by thermodecomposition, these are the answers of NECTA exam, pre-mock exam, mock exam, midterm exam. Composition of what? Pre-NECTA. So that's what I'm telling you. These are the answers. I'm teaching answers of the questions that you might be asked at any time. Some of the compositions of what? Of potassium, of the compound that called potassium chlorate. Okay? So you need these 3 materials. With 3 materials. You need a reactant, you need a catalyst, and you need water. Why? Because the function of the water trough is to store water used in the experiment. So you need only 3 materials. The first one, it's a reactant, which is potassium chlorate. The second one is what? So the second one is the catalyst, which is called what? You need manganese for oxide. So if you're writing lower cases, manganese for what? Oxide. What is molecular formula of this compound? It's MnO2. Remind yourself, what's the molecular formula of this compound? Is that one. So write that every time, and you'll find these informations will be written in your subconscious mind, and remember them anytime. Whether during the day, during the night, whether there is exams, there's no exams, you remember this essential information that scientists uses it, scientists, engineers uses it to change the world. Remember that this is the foundations of chemistry. I thank God by His own grace, I'm a teacher of chemistry from Form 1 to Form 6 in national level of Tanzania. So I'm building a strong foundation. We'll be using this concept later on to learn advanced chemistry from 5 and from 6. So take chemistry as one of your advanced subjects in near future. The steady material that we need the water. What the functions of water is in order to collect oxygen in the gas jar. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know where are we heading to? We are going to the last part of this session, of session 4. And the last part is called what? Diagrams of laboratory preparations of oxygen-based thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. And this is the response of homework 3. So this is 4.9 diagram. So most students, they used to claim only diagrams of laboratory preparations of oxygen-based thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate, which is almost the 10% of what you have to understand about potassium chlorate as ordinary secondary student who loves chemistry. Diagram of laboratory preparation. Diagram of laboratory preparation of oxygen. Diagrams of laboratory preparations of oxygen. Diagrams of laboratory diagrams of laboratory preparations of oxygen by thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate. Thermodecomposition of potassium chlorate. So this is the correction. It is correction of homework, which in short we write HW. Homework 3, example 4, which it was a question how to refer nectar from 2 of nectar from 2 of 2007, question 10A, which carried 7 marks. You remember? So refer your session 3. Just you forgot, I have a book here. But before this book, I have a very important announcement. Ladies and gentlemen who are learning through these contents or through this program, when God had established the Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai in our inner self. God was not satisfied. He gave us another extra idea to establish Tanzania Online Ordinary Library, where that we provide or we collect the contents and establish a library, and we deliver all our contents and we deliver all our contents by using what? Internet. Okay? That's very important. That's very important process or very important part of learning. So welcome into Tanzania Online Ordinary Library, so that you can order, first of all, the chemistry syllabus for ordinary education from 1 to Form 4, which has been written and published by Tanzania Institute of Education, in short it's TAYAI. You can order that book with a very reasonable, just with a gifty, with a gifty of what? So it's a gifty of 13,000 Tanzania shillings. We don't have a sample of it, but we have in our store. Secondly, we like to recommended this the book called The Chemistry Form 1 and 2 Students Books, which has been written by the Tanzania Institute of Education by following the syllabus of chemistry syllabus for ordinary education ordinary education from 1 to Form 4 by Tanzania Institute of Education. So this book, it contains all the topics you have to cover in chemistry for the Form 1 and chemistry, all the topics for the chemistry of the Form 2. So you may order this book with a very affordable and a gift of 15,000 shillings. 15,000 shillings, Tanzania shillings only. Again, we like to keep our students with questions and answers, so you have a third book. This third book, so remember that you still have two previous books, the syllabus and the reference textbook. This is called the questions and answers, or it's called the problems and solutions book. So it does not teach you a concept, but it teaches you how questions are being asked in NECTA Form 2, and also how should you answer those questions. We recommend this book, however, that it has some errors, but don't worry, because we are going to correct some of those errors. Because you have to understand, chemistry is the study of fact. So this book is called the Form 2 Chemistry Review, Problems and Solutions from 2003 to 2019. You may order this book with a very affordable price of 10,000. You use it during your Form 2 and use it during your Form. You may use it for the Form 1 and chemistry, for learning chemistry for the Form 1. You may use it for learning chemistry when you'll be in Form 4, preparing yourself for the NECTA exams. I'm speaking for the Tanzanian students. Also, you can order other two books that we call the textbook and the question and answer book for chemistry Form 3 and Form 4. These are the other books. This cost you 15,000 and this cost you 12,000 Tanzania shillings. So take that advantage right now in order for you. So for example, the question that there, how you can order, that the next question, please send your SMS of send your order in SMS through this telephone number 0759745331. And then we'll make a call and accomplish this business. Don't worry that you are studying a wadi school in Ruvuma, because right now the headquarters for Tokoso is in Dar es Salaam. We may send books and materials that you need even at Ruvuma. So you may receive it there. It just may spend 1 or 2 days for you to receive it. So when you make a call, then I'll give you a cost or a specific price to transfer as a transfer cost or shipping cost, right? Transfer cost or shipping cost. So just send a SMS, don't call, because whenever I'm teaching this phone is off because I want to concentrate on one thing, because God loves you and I love you so much also. Okay, so that's very important. So let us open this Form 2 Chemistry Review, which contains questions, problems and solutions of 40 of Chemistry Form 2 NECTA Form 2 exam. For the international student, right now we don't have a mechanism to send these materials to you online, but for all the Tanzanians, Form 2, Pre-Form 2, QT, Reciter students, they can access our contents, in our library through online. Make it. And mobile transactions. Online combinations of powerful online, of internet and the mobile transaction. So if you open this chemistry Form 2, or Form 2 or Form 2 Chemistry NECTA Review, you got the question number 10A. The question read, draw a well-labeled diagram for the preparations of oxygen gas in laboratory by using potassium chlorine, but that's a mistake, it's a typing error, and manganese 4 oxide. So let me just repeat this question because I want to eliminate all fear, all your fear of failing a chemistry NECTA exam. So let me rewrite this question, however, that I gave you in previous. So if you have tried, congratulations. Okay? Congratulations. If you have tried and you find that your trial is the same, with the right answer, congratulations. Okay? For the preparation of what? Of oxygen gas. Oxygen gas in the laboratory. By using potassium chlorine and the manganese 4 oxide. So solution for this question, we say that comment. So you may write that the reactant, because I told you, the reactant of laboratory preparation reactant of laboratory preparation, reactants of laboratory preparation, laboratory preparation of oxygen by decomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate. So you have to start on correcting the mistake. How did you know that this is typing error or it's a mistake? Because I told you the fact, and the fact remains as the fact. So maybe a typist of this book, or maybe a typist of the next exam, anything else might be happening. But I think the typist of this review book, because a typist of next exam is not the same with the typist of these review books. These review books are being prepared by other typists who are normal people like you. So the composition of 40 of potassium chlorate is what? Is potassium. So the reactant is potassium chlorate, which its molecular formula is K, capital C, R, and 3 atoms of oxygen, okay? And not what? Not potassium. And the teachers will mark the next exams will get surprised, and not potassium trichloride. This is called the potassium chloride as stated in question 10A above. So that is your comment that you have to start. After giving that comment, then you go to the fact. Okay? So you say that the following is the diagrams of laboratory set of the experiments of preparation of oxygen-based thermodecomposition. Then now you say, after commenting, the following is the diagram of laboratory preparation. Laboratory preparation of what? Of oxygen by thermodecomposition. By thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium. Of potassium chlorate. So we'll be representing all of these apparatus that are required and what the materials that we've already mentioned. So this is the set of the experiment. So if you want to do this experiment, however, that I didn't want to clean this space, I wanted to leave it, but I might confuse you, because you may rewrite it again. I want to avoid confusion in you. But remember the list of 8 apparatus required in this experiment. So the diagrams is here, and the diagram is this set. So you may use a ruler. This is the rate of the stand, and the function of the rate of the stand is to hold it, to hold the test tube. So you start drawing what? Rate of the stand. That will hold what? The test tube. So there's no need for you to cram this diagram. You have just to understand it once, and then you keep the fact. For example, myself, I learned it more than 14 years ago. And I still remember it. Why? Because I didn't cram. I understood the setup. So afterward, then you have a test tube. So here you're going to have a test tube. So this is a representation of our test tube, and here we're going to use a stopper. So this is the stopper, and this stopper is holding a delivery tube, and the delivery tube should be immersed in the test tube. So this is the stopper. So you draw it first, and then you come and label it. So here we have solid particles, the mixture of solid particles of manganese 4 oxide and potassium chlorate. So here is the place where you place what? A Bunsen burner. So here we get a source of heat to heat this test tube. And here we have what? So it's a mixture of what? So here we have what? Mixture of what? Mixture of potassium chlorate and what? And the manganese 4 oxide. This is what you have here. Right? Here we have our the delivery tube. And this delivery tube allow oxygen, which will be a product, to evaporate or to be transferred into another laboratory apparatus. So this delivery tube is plastic in nature. Okay. So then we have what? We have a water trough. So we have a water trough here. So this is the water trough. Okay. So this is the water trough. Okay. So here we still have what? Still have some lines. Okay. So here we have what? We have a water trough. Okay. So here we have the beef shelf. The beef shelf. The beef shelf. Okay, so beef shelf. And this beef shelf is the beef shelf. Remember that the beef shelf has what? Has a hole here. It's a hole for what? For the gas jar. This is the gas jar. This is the gas jar. Okay. Okay. So this is the gesture. And then here, there is water. So we fill the first material. No, this is the third material because the first is potassium chlorate and the second is manganese oxide and the third is water. Okay, water, and that is the gesture. So that's the water trough. Okay, so that's a simple experiment. So how many apparatus? So let us start with labeling apparatus first. How many apparatus did he mention? 8 apparatus, right? You remember? The first apparatus we mentioned is rhetoric stand. So if you forgot, because we talked about rhetoric stand in Form 1, so we have reminded you. So rhetoric stand. The second one is this one, called your test tube. The third one, the third apparatus that we mentioned is called your delivery tube. Delivery tube. Then the next apparatus that we mentioned is water trough. So this is the water trough. Water trough, laboratory water trough. Then the next one is behave shelf. So this one, the inner one, is what you call the behave shelf. Except the test tube and the Bunsen burner are what we didn't use in preparations of or potassium, in preparations of oxygen by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. The next apparatus is what? Is gas jar. This is what you call the gas jar. Right? Then the other apparatus is stopper. Stopper. So this is called the stopper or cork. The other apparatus is Bunsen burner. So here is the place that we place what? Our Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner. Then we have represented all the 8 apparatus required in laboratory to prepare oxygen by thermodecompositions of potassium chlorate compound. Then we say that we have how many reactants? We have only one reactant, the potassium chlorate. Where is potassium chlorate? This one. So this it's in solid state. Remember that we said it's a physical state, it's solid state. Then we need we need what? Do you need a condition? Yes, it's heat. We have shown here the conditions of heat. Again, do you need a catalyst? Yes. What the names of catalyst? Manganese oxide. So we mix it with salt potassium chlorate here. And then what are the product? Product is water. So first of all that this is water. We have water, but here also we are going to have additional water from this chemical reaction. So that's the material, the third material, water. Then the second, the second product. So the first product is water. The second product is what? Oxygen gas. The function of gas jar is to collect oxygen. So the oxygen gas will be collected in this gas jar. So it will be collected. So this is the oxygen. Inside of it, it's oxygen. But this one, this is what? A gas jar. And then this, we call it, ladies and gentlemen, figure 4.1, the diagram of what? Of laboratory preparation. Laboratory preparation of what? Of oxygen by thermodecomposition. Thermodecomposition of what? Of potassium chlorate. Did you understand what I've been teaching you? If the answer is yes, give us feedback in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say the Holy Spirit said that Olenjolai is enough. I don't want to overdose you. This is the end of session 4, titled as Laboratory Preparations of Oxygen by Thermodecomposition of Potassium Chlorate. If you have any question about this session, please ask in the comment section and I will answer you. Even other students in the entire nation of Tanzania will answer you in the comment section, right? So let me leave the homework for you, because if I don't leave the homework, then you relax. And here we don't need students who want to relax without having material in their brain. So this is homework 4. The homework 4, this make question, this is example 5. Okay, mention mention 5 physical, okay, mention 5 chemical properties. This is the nectar question, chemical properties. So this is one of the nectar questions, don't remember exactly of which year. Chemical properties of what? Of oxygen. That's the example 5. I think, yes, it's in 2007 this question has been asked, if I'm not mistaken. That is question 10B. So question 10B, no, what's the importance of minus 4 in the reaction above? So that is question what? For 10B. Question 10B, what's the importance of manganese 4 in the reaction? I told you the importance of manganese 4 oxide is to speed up the reaction. Oxygen is collected by downward displacement of 40 of water. Briefly explain why this method is used. Refer session what? Session 3. So answer this question. So one of the nectar question, nectar form 2 question, mention 5 chemical properties of 40 of oxygen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of session 4. I would like to take this opportunity to thank, first of all, my Father who is in heaven, who have been with me, who has created me in his own image, likeness. He has been with me in the preparations of this session. He has been with me in teaching this session. He has been with you when you are learning this session. So I would like to invite you, and I would like to invite God, and I would like to invite God and you in the session 5, when I will teach you about physical properties, chemical properties of oxygen, and use of 40 of oxygen. So the next session is about physical, chemical, and uses of 40 of, it means that I will teach about physical and chemical properties of oxygen and the uses of oxygen in daily life. So stay tuned, don't miss the next session. So again, I would like just to say that I'd like to say goodbye, and I wish you a nice learning of and nice enjoyment of 40 of chemistry for the Form 2, Chemistry Form 2. So that the next session, invite some other students in your school, invite some other Form 2 students in the neighbor school. Tell them about this good news, that right now we can learn chemistry online at any time and anywhere. And we thank God by his own servant, teacher called the Olenjolai Moko TAYAI Singo from Tanzania, who is the national teacher who teaches all the national and international chemistry students in ordinary level of secondary education. My dear student, remember to subscribe, to like and share this video. Remember to read the descriptions. Lastly, God is inviting you to offer your feeling thanksgiving. This content we are providing are very expensive if you want to pay for it. We thank God by his own grace, he has paid himself. The heavens has already paid for this program, has already paid me for this program. This is my feeling thanksgiving to God through you. So even yourself, you can offer your feeling thanksgiving to God through to also. How? You may send your feeling thanksgiving of any amount, even of 50 Tanzania shillings. Not 50,000, 50. The small amount of money of shillings in Tanzania is 50 shillings. You may offer your 50 Tanzania shillings, your 100 Tanzania shillings, your 200 Tanzania shillings. You may offer the coin of 500 Tanzania shillings. You may offer your freely thanksgivings of a note of 1,000 Tanzania shillings. You may offer just a freely thanksgiving of a note of 2,000 Tanzania shillings. You may offer your freely thanksgiving of 40 of a note of 5,000 Tanzania shillings. You may offer your freely thanksgiving of a note of 10,000 Tanzania shillings. Every amount of money or every amount of freely of thanksgiving will be received in heaven as long as you offer it from your heart. But remember, the word of God said that once you sow less, you will harvest less. But if you sow much, you will harvest much. If you sow generosity, then you will have a generosity harvest. That's what say the word of God in the 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 through 10. That talks about 30, the seed offering. What will be the use of your freely thanksgiving? Believe me that this freely thanksgiving will be used to pay for the electricity, to pay for the internet, to pay for the editing activities, to pay for the video camera, to pay for the lighting system, it means to pay for the camera or for the audio system. So we have so many things to pay for the church, just to pay for the rental charge of the class. So there are different running costs, and it's very expensive to prepare one video and send it to you. But because God asked me to do that, I'm doing this for the profit of the kingdom of heaven through you. So offer your freely thanksgiving, it will be used to pay for the running cost, so that more than 600 videos of physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics from 1 to Form 4 will be in air to teach present and future generation students. This is Olenjolai from Tanzania. I don't know everything about it, chemistry Form 2. I just know a small portion, but I have a responsibility to teach you what I know. May God bless you and keep you until we meet in session 5. Keep enjoying the beauty of oxygen.